The rain hadn't stopped since midnight. Each drop hitting the window felt like a quiet echo of my heart cracking open. The world looked clean again, but I wasn't fooled. Because I knew. The next storm was mine to make. By the end of the week, I knew everything I needed to. His new apartment, his office, the places he still went as if nothing had changed. People forget how much they reveal online. A photo here, a tag there. And suddenly the whole story unfolds. He wasn't hiding. He was showing off. The same man who once said he hated attention was now posting dinners, city lights, and smiles with her. Her name was Ella, the woman who thought she had won. I studied her face. She looked like I once did, soft, trusting, unaware. Part of me almost pitied her. Almost. The next day I passed by the cafe they often went to. I sat near the window, ordered black coffee, and waited. The air smelled like burnt sugar and lies. When they walked in, my pulse didn't race. I didn't cry. I simply watched. He laughed, the same laugh that once made me feel safe. Now it sounded hollow. When his eyes accidentally met mine, he froze. Just for a second. His smile faltered. I looked pretending to laugh, saying, "Probably some prank." But I also knew the silence that would follow when she'd ask, "Why would someone send that?" Recognize my handwriting. He'd hear my voice in those words, even if I never spoke again. And that was the beauty of it. He'd keep looking for me, not realizing I was already closer than he could imagine. He wasn't losing control of his life. He was losing control of his mind, and I was just getting started. 2 weeks passed before I saw him again, not by plan but by coincidence. Or maybe destiny had a darker sense of humor. It was a charity gala downtown, a place we once went together every year. I hadn't planned to attend, but when the invitation arrived through an old friend, I didn't hesitate. It felt like the universe was setting the stage. When I entered the hall, I felt the air shift. Chandeliers shimmered, violins played softly, and conversations floated like perfume. And then, I saw him, Adam, standing near the bar, dressed in the same arrogance he always wore. But it didn't fit him anymore. His smile looked forced, his shoulders heavy. Ella stood beside him, beautiful and anxious, her fingers clinging to his about it. He couldn't. How could he explain a fear that had no face, a haunting that left no trace? The night after the gala, she found him sitting in the dark, staring at the white lily on the table. "Who sent this?" she asked softly. He didn't answer. When she reached to touch his shoulder, he whispered, "She's back." Ella froze. "Who?" He looked up, eyes hollow, voice trembling. "Her." She tried to laugh it off, telling him he was overthinking, that maybe it was some coincidence. But when she turned the lily toward the light, a small folded note slipped out from beneath its stem. Just 3 words. "Still remember me?" Ella's face drained of color. She wanted to ask, but the way he stared at that flower told her everything. This wasn't a random threat. This was personal, deep. That night, Adam barely slept. He woke up drenched in sweat, convinced someone was outside. He checked the locks twice, then 3 times. Every shadow became a shape. But then she opened his hidden folder, the one marked archived. Inside were images Truth had always been the one thing Adam could never face. Ella noticed the change before he said a word. The sleepless nights. The distant stare. The way he flinched when the phone rang. "You saw her," Ella said one evening, her tone quiet but steady. He didn't answer. "She doesn't want to hurt you, Adam. She just wants you to remember." He slammed his hands on the table. "I remember everything. You think I don't?" The sound startled even him. Silence followed, thick and suffocating. Then his voice broke. "I remember how she looked at me when I left. Like I'd taken her future and crushed it in my hands. I told myself she'd move on, that she'd be fine. But she wasn't. And neither was I." Ella's eyes softened with something unexpected. Not pity but understanding. "Maybe it's not too late," she whispered. He shook his head. "It always is." That night, Adam sat in his car outside the library again. He didn't go in. He just watched the faint light through the window. The same window where she Ella hadn't heard from Adam in days. The silence should have felt peaceful, but instead it pressed against her chest like a weight she couldn't name. Something inside her whispered that whatever was happening, it wasn't over. Not yet. On the third evening, a letter arrived. No name, just her address in Adam's handwriting, slightly smudged, as if written through tears. She hesitated before opening it, afraid of what might wait inside. "Ella, I met her. I thought I could end this by talking to her, that if I said the right words the guilt would quiet down. But it didn't. It only got louder. She looked at me like I was already gone. Maybe she's right. Maybe I've been gone for a long time." Ella's fingers trembled as she read. The letter continued. "You once told me love doesn't die, it just hides. I think mine has been hiding behind guilt, behind denial. I ruined her, then I ruined us. I don't know who I am anymore. But I can't keep pretending to be the man you believed in." The words blurred through Ella's tears. It wasn't an apology. it festers. He stood by the window, staring at the city lights, each one flickering like a memory he couldn't control. In the reflection he saw himself, not the charming man he once was, but a stranger made of regret. He whispered to the empty room, "You both deserved better." But the silence, cruel and constant, gave no reply. By midnight he started writing again, not to either of them but to himself. Pages filled with questions he'd never dared to ask. When did I stop feeling? When did love become something I used to know? Tears stained the ink. He didn't wipe them away. As dawn crept through the cracks in the curtains, he gathered the pages, tied them with a piece of string, and left them on the table beside her photograph. He looked at it for a long time, the smile, the light, the innocence he had destroyed. Then he whispered, "It's time." Outside, the streets were empty, washed clean by last night's rain. He walked slowly like a man heading somewhere final. Back at the library, Ella and the woman sat in silence, unaware of what was unfolding, until the phone on the desk rang once, twice, 3 times. The woman picked it up, her hand trembling, and then her face went pale. The ringing felt endless, sharp. Broke through the clouds. For the first time in weeks, Ella stood and said quietly, "We can't let him be the last chapter." Claire looked up, tears glistening. "Then let's write the ending ourselves." And together they stepped out of the library, into the soft, forgiving morning. Weeks passed, yet the echoes of that night still followed them, not as sharp pain anymore, but as something softer. Memory had begun its slow work, sanding down the edges of grief until all that was left was understanding. Ella and Claire met often after that. Sometimes at the library, sometimes by the river where Adam's car had been found. They rarely spoke about him directly. They didn't need to. The silence between them carried more meaning than words ever could. One evening, as the sun sank low, painting everything gold, Ella said quietly, "You know, for a long time I thought he took something from me that I'd never get back." Claire looked at her, a faint smile in her tired eyes. "And did he?" Ella shook her head. "No. He just made me forget who I was. But remembering that part's mine again." For a moment, they're about finally being found. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Grandma's Truth, where every story reminds you that even pain can become strength.